but the industry wasn't ready to hear from me. And being violent about what you have to say doesn't always work. I've seen some of the people that you've interviewed on this show, and they've learned how to calm themselves down, even though they have really big things to say. Whether it's Tenpenny or Willis or Ike or those people that you've had contact with, they've learned how to really slow down their act and say it so that it can be heard by the general masses. I too had to go through that phase where I could speak honestly about what I'm saying here in the world of mental health and in the world of the treatment and the diagnosis actually working to perpetuate itself rather than cause any cure. And this is where I'm at now. And that's what created Welcome to Humanity. And that's what eventually created The Undoctor. And that's what created me now as a communicator, as a podcaster, as a keynote speaker, as a teacher, as a facilitator, someone who's written a couple books. Find Your True Voice is one of my books, and The Creative Eight, Healing Through Creativity and Self-Expression. And in both of those books, we do the same thing, which is we look at communication, conversation, human connection as the source of all healing. And we start to see that that's what's missing in the world, and probably what's being mistaken for mental health issues, mental illness, more often than not. Maybe there isn't such thing really as a baseline mental illness. And this is the stand that I'm taking these days, actually getting that it's time to transform the narrative of this very stale concept of mental illness, the way it's designed over the last, couple decades, and start really making a difference in humanity by promoting deep and honest, total, genuine, authentic connection between people as a way of healing. That's where I am, Roy.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And when you're talking to kind of fellow doctors and, like you mentioned, the people maybe on Prozac or whatever, but you started off on a certain level and they were cured. Like, can other doctors, is it more of the kickback system or just protecting themselves that they don't want to get on board? Because, like, obviously I've spoken to a few doctors that are doing this, but it's tiny. And I mean, when you talk to people, it's kind of like, I don't know, they just kind of turn around and walk away as if it's not happening, when we know, like, that you can prove it. It's not that we think, it's like you can prove this.
Yeah, I don't know if they're protecting themselves. Look, we were taught a certain way. These are good people. Doctors, tend to be very good people. That's how they got into medical school. They convinced people that they were good people and they were out to heal and out to make a difference, a positive difference in the world, and projected themselves and promoted themselves as somebody who cared about humanity. And these same people are the ones who are still doctors. So I don't want to put down my colleagues in any way for, by diminishing the impact that they could or should be making. On the other hand, if they honestly looked at what's happening here, they could easily see that the medications are not really curing anybody. They're not healing anybody, but they're not promoted to heal. They're actually promoted to just contain the symptoms or slow down the deterioration, when in fact, cure and healing is what's available. And it can be made available by removing these medicines and removing the notion of a diagnosis.